You may have brilliant ideas, yet the approval of your research is still being delayed. I want to stop that from happening. Welcome to Learn with Dr. Mojirayo YouTube channel, where I help students and researchers write better, research smarter, and communicate like professionals. In today's video, I'll be showing you top 5 mistakes that can sink your grades or delay your research. Let's jump right in. Before we discuss the mistakes, let me quickly remind you what a research proposal is. A research proposal is a detailed plan for your research project, your thesis, or your dissertation. The very first mistake that most students make is not clearly stating the problem. Students sometimes will write 20-page research proposal without stating the gap they want to fill in the study. They are not stating the problem they want to solve in that study. That may delay your approval. I want to stop that from happening. So listen and stick with me till the end. After stating your topic, the next important thing is the statement of the problem. What does the statement of the problem do? It presents the issue or the gap or the problem you want to address in your research. So it has to be clear, not vague. You have to identify that problem clearly in your research. I will teach you how. When you want to write problem statements, you have to be able to tell us that, okay, this is what researcher A has done, this is what researcher B has done, and this is what you want to do. For instance, instead of writing, this study will examine malaria in Nigeria and then put a full stop there and nothing else. That's too broad and that is not detailed. What do you write? You have to tell us the existing study. Although several studies have examined the treatment of malaria in Nigeria, but few have talked about the challenges of drug resistance in rural communities. So this study investigates the resistance to anti-malaria drugs in Benue between 2022 and 2023. Another vague statement of problem is just saying this research will look into rice farming in Africa. No, that's too broad. And you don't just stop at that. You could say that while studies on rice production in West Africa have primarily focused on climate factors, little attention has been paid to the role of access to credit facilities among smallholder farmers. You will now go into exactly what you want to do. This study examines how limited access to agricultural credit affects rice production or rice yield in Ogun State. You are specific of the area, you are telling us what other people have done, and you are telling us that most people have not done this aspect, and that's what I'm bringing to the table. Let me give one more example so that you can understand better. Instead of saying that this study focuses on small business in Nigeria and stop at that, why not say that, or why not write existing studies on small businesses in Nigeria are largely focused on funding challenges, but little attention has been paid to the impact of digital marketing tools in business growth. Now you will tell us what you want to do in your research. This research examines how digital marketing can influence customer retention among small businesses in Abuja. Now let me tell you this. A good problem statement is more than just a topic. It is a research roadmap. And that is why you must tell us what others have done, tell us what is missing, and tell us what you want to do. The second mistake, which is another red flag in your work, is methodology. You might have a good research question, a good statement of the problem, a good approach, but your study is falling apart because you don't have a good methodology. How do you intend to carry out your study when you don't have a strong methodology? Imagine someone saying that we'll carry out surveys and analyze them and just stop. How do you want to carry out the survey? How do you want to analyze it? It has to be stated clearly in the methodology section. Instead of saying I will write some surveys and analyze them, why not say, or why not write, this study will use a mixed method approach combining qualitative interviews with Pentecostal church leaders and quantitative surveys of the church members in Abuja to assess the impact of leadership training on church growth. So what did he just do? You explain data collection process, the sample size, the selection criteria, and where you analyze the data. The third mistake is a shallow literature review. If you have a weak literature review, it is a major problem. It simply means that you have not interacted or engaged with existing studies. What do you want to build your argument on if you don't have any knowledge of literature, or if you have not reviewed the existing literature? So instead of saying there is a lot of research on poverty and education, and I think it is important to consider, you think? No, don't do that. So what do? Instead, write, research by Oladoye indicates that poverty in rural areas directly affects access to education, with specific barriers including transportation and school fees. These are the areas that people have worked on. However, few studies have addressed how local cultural factors influence educational access in rural Nigeria, which this study aims to explore. So if you have not really read this literature, how will you be able to know the gap that they filled and what is missing? So what have you just done? You have been able to reference the previous studies and the authors, the scholars that have worked on your topic, and you have also been able to constructively criticize and review their work. And you have also shown your own contribution to knowledge. That is a proper literature review. I don't want this video to be too long. This is going to be the part 1 of this video, so stay tuned for the part 2, where I will unveil the remaining 2 mistakes that you need to avoid in your research. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, drop a comment, subscribe, and share, because learning is better together. Until next time, keep growing, keep digging deep, and keep learning with Dr. Mojirayo.